Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's February 26, 2026. Great to be with all of you today. My name is Bob Lang, and it's time for our chart of the day. No, it's not. It's the Daily Bites. Just kidding, you guys. So, time for the Daily Bites. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at about 8:30, 8:45, talking a little bit about the markets, what happened the prior day, a couple of days, what's happening today, what may be happening over the next couple of days. So here we are. We're post Nvidia earnings now, right? So everybody's anxiety is gone away. People who have been hyperventilating over the past couple of days over what their earnings were going to be can now breathe normally, and now we can just move on. And obviously, volatility is taking a beating because the news is out, and once the news is out, we know that uncertainty is gone, right? And we know that the rise in volatility is created by that increase of uncertainty, that we don't know what's going to happen, right? A lot of people yesterday didn't believe that Nvidia was going to knock the ball out of the park. They didn't believe that what Jensen Huang had to say about their business and about the margins and about the new chips that are coming. But they came out and delivered and over-delivered on their promise of guidance as well too. So stock is up a little bit this morning. Of course, it ran higher yesterday and it did earlier in the week, perhaps in advance of those strong earnings numbers. And so we could get a little bit of a retreat here, but I suspect that with the strong guidance that they delivered on the top and the bottom line for the rest of 2026, where the amount of downside is probably limited. However, as I pointed out yesterday several different times, the stock has been in a range for about 6 months, and there's a lot of options that are going to be expiring tomorrow. The 200 strike specifically, so we could certainly see sellers coming in, keeping that price below the $200 level. But maybe with that guidance being strong enough, if we can get a lift above 200, get a couple of closes above there in the next week or two or three, it could be off to the races for Nvidia one more time. So how does this affect the rest of the market? Certainly NASDAQ it should see a bit of a bump here. However, we did see some weakness from a stock like Salesforce, which is in the Dow Industrials. It's also in the S&P 500. And this company just continues to flounder. I guess they came up with really strong numbers and really strong revenues, but the street isn't buying it. And perhaps, that this stock needs to continue falling a little bit more, find a bottom a place where the big money is going to step in. Or Snowflake also have good earnings, but is not responding as positively as, say, Nvidia or some of the other stocks. Nutanix came out with real strong earnings, and they did an agreement with another couple of companies yesterday. And that stock is up sharply today after being in quite a severe downtrend. The trade desk, oh my, trade desk down again, down another $4 today. For a $25 stock, that's a very big percentage move, close to 17% down on the trade desk. And they lowered their guidance for revenue significantly, and so their growth is basically slowing, if not going in reverse. So this stock has been punished mercilessly over the past several quarters for not executing on their plan. I don't know. I think that the stock is probably dead meat right now until they get a replacement CEO. It's possible that AI is going to. This is one of those targeted online advertising, digital advertising companies that AI may be taking dead aim at. So good luck to the trade desk. We haven't had shares in a long time, and probably not going to have some ever again. Pure Storage, PSTG, which they actually changed their name to Everpure. This stock had really strong earnings after a really bad quarter last time around when they reported in November. but the stock is turning it around here, and it's back into the mid 70s. I think it's going to make a run up to the 90s or 100 range. We have this one in our Leap service, which we started last year, up 107% in 2025. Then we've already off to a great start so far in 2026. We're up about 4.5%, almost 5% in the first couple of months of the year. So let's talk a little bit about the markets here. We see SP futures, NASDAQ futures up a little bit. The Dow futures up about 100 points. S&P up about 8.25. We see the volatility index coming down a little bit below 1755 right now. Below 18 is an important marker over here. Below the 20-day moving average is important if it stays below there. We did see some heavy selling and volatility yesterday, which basically spurred the rise in the markets during the day of trading on Wednesday. We'll see if there's a little bit more follow through. Now, of course, Monday, all right, let's take a look at the chart here for this week on the SP 500. Monday, of course, was a very, very bad day. We saw the SP 500 close right at the 20-day moving average on Friday, got hammered on Monday, and then turned it around Tuesday, and then followed through on Wednesday. So now we're above the 50 and the 20-day moving average. So where are we at right now? Well, I said yesterday that we're even in the webinar we did that we're still stuck in a range, right? And we're still in a range until further notice. Let's call it 7,000 on the SP 500, down to about 6,800 on the low end. So once we break out of one of those areas here to the upside or the downside, we're closer to the top of the range here. Now, 4 or 5 different times we try to break above 7,000 and we're rejected. 8 or 9 times we try to break below 6,800, also rejected there. So that it's a pretty solid range right here between 6,800 and 7,000. So that's a 2,000 point range. I'm sorry, 200 point range within the within that structure here. So which way is it going to go? I don't know, but whichever direction it's going to go into, that I'm going to be following it, following the pattern, following the momentum, whatever if the sellers take control, the bears take control. And look, multiple times, you can just look at this chart over here. Multiple times the bears have had the opportunity to take over, and they have failed and fumbled the ball every single time they picked it up. But similar can be said for the bulls to the upside. 3, 4, 5 times they've tried to take the ball and run with it above 7,000 and just been rejected every single time. So again, we just have to pay attention to what's happening in this range. Could this range last much longer? Absolutely. And would it be frustrating for everyone? It would be frustrating for the bears because they couldn't break through 6,800. Frustrating for the bulls because we couldn't break out above those old all-time highs. So we see also on this chart, the MACD has been lowering over here, which means that the range is starting to narrow on the moving averages. On balance volume peaked at the end of January and just kind of slowly trying to creep back up here. We've noticed in the internals each and every day, which I post in the Market Blast, we've noticed every single day that the VOLD, VOLD, has been pretty weak, except for when Tuesday was pretty good. Yesterday was actually very weak, which means that the volume pressure on the market is not intense and is not matching the price action. Now, of course, you've heard me say many, many times over the years that price matters the most. Price is the big thing. But got to pay attention to what the price action is doing. It's the king of all indicators. Not arguing that. However, it's good to have good volume present when we have a stock market breaking out, right? So pay attention to the volume levels. It's been coming down for the past couple of days when the market has been trying to break out. And, we have to understand that if the volume is not very high, it's not confirming the market rallying. In other words, we don't have accumulation days, right? What is an accumulation day? It's when the volume is higher than the prior day and the market goes up. Now, what's the opposite of that? Distribution day. Market is higher, market is down, but the volume is higher than it was the prior day. So that's a day distribution. We have had quite a couple of those days of distribution. Last week we had one on Monday, but we don't really see a whole heck of a lot of that going on right now. Now things could change, right? And we could certainly see some distribution here and there, especially as we come up towards tax season. Tax season's coming up in about a month and a half, where people have to start selling stocks to raise money to pay taxes, right? So that's also another consideration to think about as we head into the early part of spring. As far as the earnings are concerned, we had good earnings coming out from Vistra this morning. VST, Baidu came out with earnings. I haven't seen that one yet. Tonight we'll hear from CoreWeave, which may get a bump today from NVIDIA. It's a partner of NVIDIA. Dell will be reporting later on after the close. Rocket Lab, RKLB, Zscaler, Duolingo, and OPCO, along with SoundHound, a couple of smaller names that a lot of people have been paying attention to lately. Tomorrow, a few small energy names and a couple of side crypto names as well too will be reporting before the open. So that's going to be it, everyone. Have a great day. I appreciate everyone spending a little bit of time with me. Don't forget, we have a webinar later on today at 12 noon. Look for that link. I put it out there on social media. Look for it in your emails as well too if you're on our newsletter mailing list. And if you're in the chat room, I've already put the link in the Swing Trader chat and also in the main room. Don't be late. It's going to be right at 12 noon. With Todd Gordon. He's going to be spending a little bit of time with me talking a little bit about markets and about investing and trading and what he sees as well too. It's going to be some good insight. You're going to really enjoy listening to Todd. He's a good friend of mine, and I've always had a good webinar when we've gotten together. Usually one of the more popular ones when I had a guest on with me. So don't miss that. That's at noon today. So hopefully I'll see you there, and have a great trading day. Have a great trading day tomorrow. Don't forget, tomorrow is the last trading day of February, last day of the month. Monday will be the first trading day of March. That'll be March 2nd. We often have good money flows as we start the month, but we didn't have it in February. But we'll see if we can slide into the green for a couple of these indices to the end of the month here. Look out for some window dressing today. I'm not exactly sure the markets are going to hold up too much today, but we'll see what happens. We'll be watching the breadth. We'll be watching all these indicators as well too to make sure we're making the right moves. Again, appreciate all you spent a lot of time with me today. I'll be back on Monday morning with the next Daily Bites, and I'll see you guys then. If you're in the chat room, I'll see you there a little bit later on today. Take care, everyone. Bye.